Storytellers, and welcome back to Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios Library, the podcast where we watch the Disney films, the Disney animated classic films, 1 through 55. You don't know these numbers. We do. That's all that matters. But we're back again here. I'm sorry, I ran out of breath halfway through that. I'm Jeff, the apparently perpetual sick person. And joining me this week, as per usual, the man who will definitely be taking over the reins this week while I sit here quietly and nod to the microphone. TC. Hello, TC. How
Hello,
you doing?
Jeff. You're sick again. Oh, no.
I'm sick again. I have more of a voice this time than I did the last time I was sick, and I said I couldn't talk much.
I disagree. You have less of a voice this time.
Less of a voice? It's not much there at all? Okay. It feels better. It just, there's nothing there.
Yep.
So.
And this is where all of our disagreements for this entire episode begin.
Yes, this is the
I
one.
say you have less voice, and you say you have more.
And you know what? I think this is grounds for us to end the show. Just we're
no.
done. 49 and we're out. We don't need to do the last 7.
No, we need to discuss.
We need to discuss.
We have, voices to talk about, like the fact that Terrence Howard, John Goodman, Oprah Winfrey, Jim Cummings, Keith David. There's all these notable names in this movie.
That is true. There's a lot of really big people in this film, and this film being, nice segue, TC.
Yeah.
The film being our number 49 on our list, the 2009 return to 2D animation?
Yes.
/ farewell to 2D animation?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Film The Princess and the Frog.
The Princess and the Frog. Jeff, I'm going to jump right in here for your sake.
Yes, please. Thank you.
This right here is the send-off that 2D deserved, not Home on the Range. This is the way to end. Well, we always talk about eras in this library. This is definitively the best send-off they possibly could have given Disney's 2D animation library. To return to it one more time to do this.
Right, and now that's exactly what, like, something I had realized halfway through watching this film was that, because I always saw this as, well, why did they, so they wanted to go back to the 2D, maybe they thought they left it premature, like, back before watching this film this time, or, on this viewing. I was always trying to figure out, like, why did they go back to do it? What was the reasoning behind it? And this time around, now having done the podcast and watched these movies in order, I completely agree that this was a crap, we cannot end on Home on the Range, guys. 2D, that cannot be the last 2D film we make. And we need to actually, let's just try it. Let's just do this one. Let's just make this thing. Now, I think the Winnie the Pooh movie is 2D, right? That we've got coming up?
Yes.
Okay. But still, like, this one definitely feels like them going, no, we have to, let's end this properly, guys, okay? And let's end on a high note, not cow jokes. Yeah,
certainly Winnie the Pooh is 2D as well, but we'll get to Winnie the Pooh in a couple movies. It doesn't. This is a send off to not just 2D animation, but this is a way to say goodbye to a lot of the traditions of Disney while introducing a new style of approaching fairy tales, because there's still quite a few tropes in this movie that we've seen throughout the history of this library that there's a little bit of a reverence at the same time. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of, okay, this is a typical fairy tale trope, especially out of our princess movies, that we are kind of laughing at ourselves for now. We will get that through the rest of these movies. We will, for the rest of this library, whenever it comes down to the traditional classic storytelling elements of the Disney library, they are now making fun of themselves. They've reached this point. This library, in its lifespan, has now reached the point of being able to laugh at itself without demeaning itself. Okay. I know that's a silly thing to think about, but it's this library has matured. If you look at it as a lifespan, we've reached a point now where it can acknowledge the silliness of its youth, or the silliness of its past. Falling in love.
Right.
in
Right.
one
I mean,
night
you think
together.
about this. These films, you know, the Disney Animation Studios are like a 70-year-old at this point, because with their original one being 39, and this is 2009, where you know we've had good 70 years, so they're old enough that they can look back and tease and make fun of themselves and reference themselves, whether they mean to or not.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just old and senile, or they're like Jeff, and I just don't remember anything.
Jeff's 70. Everyone, I don't know if anyone was aware.
Guys, this is my actual voice. I put on the young, very attractive voice every week for this podcast.
Yeah, this is it. He's pulled his teeth out. He's old.
I'm very old. I have lots of gray hair or no hair at all. Ooh.
No. So this movie has a lot of callbacks to the Disney tradition, and we're watching another princess movie. We have been inspired by a fairy tale. We have a princess who falls in love with a prince in the course of one journey together. Wishing upon a star. You have to wait till midnight, or a curse, or the spell won't be broken. And there's other little like nods to the past as well. Like when Lewis shows up, he does the Madam Mim through the like when she pulls her head and turns into the alligator in Sword in the Stone. In this, when Lewis pulls the tree apart and sticks his face out, he's the alligator. We have a Simba costume, right? When they're on the riverboats going to Mardi Gras. What else I wrote down? One more. King Triton was one of the floats, and my favorite callback, Timon was right about what stars are.
That they're actually just fireflies
Stuck in the sky, right? Because
I
always thought that they were balls of light, balls
also,
of gas.
If we are doing callbacks, there was one of them that we missed.
Oh, yeah.
Right at the beginning of the movie, when they show the New Orleans like neighborhood street, on the second floor, there is a woman who is beating out a rug that looks exactly like Magic Carpet.
Oh, and carpet. That's great. I didn't catch that one.
So
I'm sure there's
Magic
probably
Carpet is in this.
There's probably a handful of more that we're missing. Something we're going to have to do for our final episode is determine all the universes. And determine, okay, so King Triton's a float. Does that mean this is a world where Little Mermaid is a film, or where Little Mermaid is in this universe, right?
Okay.
So
We'll have to basically just make a list of, so we have figure out that we have 4 different universes, and here are the films that take place in those universes.
Yeah. Trying to determine, like saying that Treasure Planet exists in the same universe as Lilo and Stitch, which means Treasure Planet also takes place in our reality because Lilo and Stitch has Elvis, right? Like doing that, we'll have to figure out where Princess and the Frog lines up.
Right. I like that. I like all of this idea, TC. I mean, it's obvious that the Princess and the Frog falls into the magical universe that more than likely is the same universe as Lion King and like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, because it has magic and it has spells and it has curses and it has all that stuff, and like Cinderella and Snow White and all those as well. All right, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to pull that list together.
We've been getting some good, this sort of talking shop, but I've been getting some good tweets and messages about what we should discuss, like our favorites and our least favorites and our little topics we can discuss for the final episode as we wrap up this library. But that's for another day. This movie, Princess and the Frog, is no doubt a musical. It opens. You're going to watch a musical.
Oh yeah, this is such a musical that I might even beg to differ, or I might even just bring up the point that there might actually be too many songs, because there seems like there's a song every 3 minutes in this movie. No, not saying the music's bad. I really like the music in this movie. I dig this type of music. I thought the performances of the music was great. The lyrics were good. They were fun. They were entertaining. But there's a moment where I'm like, we're doing another song. Okay, okay, wow, we're on another song already. Okay. Like there wasn't enough time between that I could be, all right, back to the story. Oh, now we're in another song again. It felt more like song and, okay, a couple lines of dialogue and song again. Okay, okay, it felt more like Rent. Or like,
no,
not
you dare.
I mean, I meant in musical style in the sense like it's 98% music and 2% lyric or like dialogue. And I know this movie's got more lines in it. Like the later we get into it, because a lot of this music is up front. Like maybe the first half, and then it kind of tapers off a little bit as the show or as the movie goes along. But it did feel like it just felt like a lot all at once, and I didn't know how to handle that.
That's fine. I see where you're coming from with that. I will say that it does establish itself as a musical. The movie starts with the opening song, narration song, "I wish upon an evening star," and then you get a little bit of the setup, I guess prologue in a sense when you see Tiana as a little girl. But then when when it jumps forward in time, the title card hits. So essentially the cold open and then the establishment of the universe where you meet all the characters in the opening song, which is brilliantly handled. The consistent music, I could see that. I can understand where you're coming from. We're going to hit a movie in a few that's how I felt when I was sitting in the theater. I've never sat and watched Princess and the Frog and thought, oh, geez, another song like this. There's a lot of music. I think there's a very good balance of the music in this, as well as sticking to the tradition of the classic Disney musicals that we've seen, especially the Renaissance films. I think that as much as Disney tried to recapture the Renaissance through some of their experimentation, the latter half movies, when you look at Tarzan and or when you get to Brother Bear and their attempts to capture the Renaissance without doing the music, this is a return to this Broadway style, this music style is way more consistent with Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. And I part of me wonders if your feelings that this has too much music is just you disassociating just how much music is in Beauty and the Beast, and that if you really think of them side by side, there's quite a bit of music in Beauty and the Beast as well.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's the perfect amount of music in Beauty and the Beast. You shut your mouth.
Now, I'm not disparaging Beauty and the Beast. I'm just pointing out that Princess and the Frog falls into that tradition really, really nicely. And that I appreciate all this music from Mr. Randy Newman, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct, and that's the thing. Like I said, it's a blast. Like the music that they use, I really enjoyed. Like it helped move the story along. I liked listening to it. It was well done. It's my kind of music. Friends on the Other Side.
Yeah.
The villain song for the film. Right. That's unarguably that villain song. Right.
Oh, certainly. Yes. Absolutely.
I like it. I am not in love with it. I really did dig it. Like I really liked what they were trying to do. My one note about it, and I'm going to get a lot of crap for this because I feel like I'm already hating on this movie. I'm not intending. I'm just this is how it's going.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, I wondered, and I guess I have to go back and I have to look at like the lyrics for previous villain songs, because usually a villain song is good at like establishing the villain's motivation and kind of furthering the plot a little bit. Obviously, generally the villain song happens at a point in the film where they are giving their motivation, and it kind of helps push the plot along a little bit. Right. This one, they tried that balance, and it did give me motivation, but it felt like it was more trying to just push the plot along, so there was too much exposition that was trying to happen in some of the lyrics, and that kind of threw me off.
There's no hook. I think that's what it is. That this
okay,
song,
maybe that's what it is.
The most hook it has is like I've got friends on the other side. Like he says that a couple times, and you get the echo or the call and response to that. But it doesn't have a hook like "Poor Unfortunate Souls" or "Gaston." It doesn't have the hook of previous villain songs, but it does exactly what previous villain songs have done, which is establish the conflict that's going to be in this movie, which is Dr. Facilier tricking Prince Naveen and not Lewis. Oh shoot, what's the fat guy's name? Lawrence.
Yeah, because Lewis.
Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence. Because Lewis is the alligator.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it does lay out the conflict rather nicely. Essentially, it would be like if Jafar had sung a song without a hook. Like he's in that Jafar has a scheme to unfold. If you go back to Aladdin, but he doesn't have a villain song. So
Right. The closest we get is the Prince Ali reprise, which doesn't count. Yeah. That doesn't count.
But we'll go. I guess we can keep talking about Dr. Facilier. So this is Keith David doing this role, and man, what a cool
dude.
I'm happy for a return to the villain song, but I'm happy for a return for such a dynamic and exciting villain with some very clear problems of his own. He's clearly made a deal with with essentially the underworld, the devil of sorts, and and he pays the consequences for it very, very well, doesn't he?
Yep. Definitely one of those villains where you can tell he's bad. Obviously you know that he's bad because he's a villain. But like you can tell that he made some bad plans, and you're not bad. You're not upset when he gets what's coming to him at the end. But he's not. It's not. He's almost. He has confidence in himself, but at the same time is still aware of what he did, and it does scare him.
Yeah, he has that hubris about him where he's like just so smooth and like playing with the cards and scheming with Lawrence behind Naveen's back, and his clear motivation is like of to get the money to control New Orleans, to control all those souls, to give to the other side to pay off his debt, and that is not laid out heavy-handedly. That is given out piecemeal as his story goes along. Like he seems like just a con man who tricked someone. And if you think of in the case of Ursula, right? Ursula's motivations are a little unclear when you look at Little Mermaid, but you know what her motivations are. Like she wants to control the kingdom, blah blah blah. Dr. Facilier's arc, or at least the information of why he's doing what he's doing, isn't just laid out in song. He does seem like just a con man ripping off a guy for money. And then you get to the point where he has to make the one final plea with the shadow people and say, if I can do this, if I can get the money, I'll have New Orleans in the palm of my hand, and you'll have all the souls you want. Please, just let me get through this. And he begs when he finally gets his comeuppance, just like verging on like freaky, like old. We're looking at Dark Ages kind of darkness in terms of those shadow people and what
I know.
Getting dragged to hell. That's pretty awesome.
It's honestly it's one of my favorite. It might be one of my favorite villain deaths. I mean, there's a lot of villains that have died in our movies over the years, there's definitely something new about this that we haven't seen. But at the same time, it's very much so something that we have seen, because it's the whole spoilers for the tropes section, I guess.
Right.
But it's the whole a villain gets his comeuppance, or his demise is caused by his own doing, basically.
Yeah.
So
hoisted on his own petard.
Yeah. So I loved that the darkness of, oh dang, they just pulled him to hell. Oh my. Oh, he was alive and the monsters came out and just took him. And that's very dark.
It's neat because he is the clear antagonist in this movie. But he's not the highest power, right? Like he has to answer to someone, and that's not something that we have seen before. I don't feel like nothing springs to mind that there's someone above our villain, right? No one's above Hades, no one's above Ursula, no one's above Jafar. They aren't answering to anybody, and that's what makes Facilier, the Shadow Man, so interesting as a villain, that he answers to someone, that he's
literally a puppet.
Yeah,
he's a puppet for an even worse being that we don't get to see in this film.
Yeah,
except for just that little bit of the shadow people and whatever they are, which does open up a question as to like, so they they gave him his power? Is that kind of how that general thing? Because he works in voodoo and stuff like that. Is what I'm assuming.
Yeah. He made some sort of deal with the shadow people to give him abilities. Essentially, he sold his soul, and he has to pay them back in kind. Soul for a soul.
Which does bring up a very interesting question, TC.
Yes.
Does that mean Dr. Facilier made the deal with the people? Are those the same people? Did Peter Pan make a deal with the same people?
Oh, because Peter Pan's shadow is... oh, man. You know what? Because he's collecting kids.
Yes.
Oh, boy. You know what?
So is Peter actually, like, is that his deal? And is that why he, I don't know, like maybe he made the deal and he escaped them to Neverland, but then, you know, like original book was that he was killing the kids when they got too old, and was that the sacrifice to them?
You know, if
is Peter and Dr. Facilier part of one and the same?
Well, I
discuss.
I know the animator. It's Bruce something. Bruce Jones. Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith was the animator and the designer for Dr. Facilier, and he was inspired by Captain Hook. Like, if you look at the way Dr. Facilier is constructed, he's a mashup of physicality of Captain Hook and Cruella de Vil.
Ooh, interesting.
So your Peter Pan connection. Oh no. And the shadows are alive.
I'm just saying, guys, the shadows are alive.
You know what? Okay.
And his shadows do work a lot like Peter's shadows do.
So maybe Peter is in the early stages of that deal, right? Because his shadow is just mischief at this point. And if he were to continue to make deals, then he would reach a point where the shadow people are trying to collect.
So Peter's been good up until this point, right? Is that kind of our theory? Like,
he's just a little puckish, no big deal.
I know we're kind of jumping all around here, but we were on the Dr. Facilier part.
Yeah,
you know what? That theory
about.
Is too good. Let's just talk about that right now, right at the start.
No, we're fine to jump on that. We can actually segue here and talking about. I'll wrap up Dr. Facilier for the time being. That he is this subversion of the villain because he has similar motivations that we've seen in the past, but his reasonings behind those, like what his desires are compounded upon the fact that his life is at risk. It's similar to what we've seen and yet new at the same time, and that's really cool. And other subversions we can move on to. Oh, I'll let you pick, Jeff. Do you want to talk about Charlotte, or do you want to? Let's save our main characters. Let's jump over to Charlotte.
Let's go to Charlotte.
Oh boy.
Excuse me, 1 second.
You cough it out. Charlotte is a subversion of the fairy tale princess. She's a little girl who grew up with classic Disney stories. She has had the fairy tales. She wants the storybook romance. She is a more realistic verget of what these Disney princesses would be, having grown up on Disney princesses, right? She's got the dresses. Right. She wants to get proposed to at a party. She wants to fall in love. She believes wishing on a star. She has all the fairy tale and fantasies about her, and that's funny because she's not the main character. She is the supporting character to our protagonist, but she's not vilified. She isn't a bad person. She's spoiled, but she still cares about Tiana. She cares about her friend. She's supportive of everything Tiana loves and wants to do, and I think that's she has admirable character traits, despite being this spoiled rich girl who believes in fairy tales, and she's hilarious. The animation on her is so good.
Because the animation, just like her character, is kind of is over the top and is kind of ridiculous and silly. The way that the animators drew her, they drew her right into that exact world, or just being kind of funny to look at. She's not funny looking, but she's super animated with her expressions. Yeah,
she's so kinetic
and all over the place. Yes.
Like we meet her as a little girl, and she's so cute because she's like, "This is my favorite part." Oh, like and she's got the kitty that she makes that she tortures. But then when we meet her as an adult, where she's going, "Oh, Big Daddy," blah, 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 blah. She's bouncing around. She can't sit still in her chair. Like, Daddy, tell her. Daddy, tell her. Okay, I'm going to tell you. She's so kinetic. She's just a little firecracker, and it's so enjoyable. Because go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's so enjoyable, and they know when to stop.
Yes,
with her,
exactly what I was going to say.
She's not just they're not just beating you over the head with her character. She's not in like every single scene.
No.
Because I feel like if there was, and I firmly believe this, if there was 5 more minutes of her in the film, she would have reached the point of, oh my God, just shut up. Like, it's not fun anymore.
No.
You're becoming Ben, Charlotte.
Oh,
don't become Ben.
Don't be Ben. Don't be Ben.
Don't be Ben. Hashtag don't be Ben. More t-shirts. We're going to sell all these after the podcast is done, guys.
She is, there's just enough of her. She never verges into annoying. Like all of her little quirks, like the way she poses at the top of the stairs and calls the spotlight, and then she runs down the stairs really fast to get to Naveen, and she slows down. And I think my favorite physical gag with her, and there are many to choose from, is when she's putting her mascara on. She's like, I thought it was wishing on a star was for kids and crazy people. And she like pulls her eyelid open real wide.
It's so good. Oh man.
Yeah, but
she was such a great character.
Yeah, and what I love about her is as lovable as she is because of her just silliness, it is that she is a genuinely good friend. She is a good friend to Tiana. Like, for their whole lives, they have been best friends, and she is supportive. And I love when she kisses Naveen at the end to try to make the frog no, I'll do it for you. I'll do this for you, Tiana. I'll do this to help you.
Yeah. And it's funny because like that's a moment where you realize, oh, she is. If you were maybe even on the fence with her, well, maybe she's not a good person, because her character could very well have been like you said, not just the bad person, not the villain, not anything like that, but she could have very well have been not a totally good person and gotten some comeuppance because she was so used to, life being a certain way and, getting her prince and stuff like that. But her doing that makes you go, oh no, you're right. She is a good person. She's not a bad person.
The word of the episode here is subversion, because she could easily have been something like the triplets in Beauty and the Beast, who is judging the protagonist. Or even going back further, she could have been like one of the stepsisters. Right? Because the stepsisters are jealous of Cinderella capturing the prince, getting the prince's attention, capturing the prince's attention. She could have been like those previous incarnations of characters in her that are similar to her, but she is not. She's the opposite of those meaner characters of the past, which is another way of honoring what has come before while turning it into something new. And this great combination of old and new in a character like Charlotte. That's fantastically done by this movie.
Exactly.
And let's see who else here we got here. Let's get to Tiana here. Let's talk about Tiana. You know what?
Okay.
One more time. Let's talk about Lawrence real quick, because he's a villain that comes out of nowhere as well. Because whereas Dr. Facilier is our true antagonist, because he's the one pulling the strings on this whole turn Naveen into a frog and turn Lawrence into Naveen. Lawrence is like the sidekick villain, but he's the one doing the dirt. It's like Iago putting on the flamingo outfit to entice Prince Ali, I'm in the garden, right? But now the whole of the plot has to revolve around the sidekick character pulling off this con. He's the face man, right?
Right. And it I'm not going to lie, and please forgive me. I think I missed something. I literally think I looked away from the screen for like 2 seconds, and I missed the exchange as to why he was doing it.
Okay, and you're on the right. It's good that you called that out, because this isn't for as much credit as I want to give this movie for its subtlety in character motivations. Because in the prologue that opens up the movie, you get all the main characters, except for Lewis and Ray, because you don't meet them until they're on the journey. But at least all the human characters, you get visualizations of why they do what they do in this film. And that's really intelligent. That's really, it's a very mature way to tell a story in a film. But blink and you miss it, or you're looking at the wrong thing on the screen and you're going to lose something, right? Naveen's
Right.
journey is affected by this as well because of a lot of what you need to understand to appreciate his arc comes from the prologue song, the Down in New Orleans, and Dr. Facilier's song where he's doing Friends on the Other Side. Lawrence is similar. You have to watch what Lawrence and Naveen are doing in the prologue without any real verbalization. Or well, I mean it's half and half. You get like Prince Naveen, you have to come on, and that was more German. I know, sorry. But in Dr. Facilier's Friends on the Other Side, the Shadow Man is so engaging to look at that you're not paying attention to what's happening to Lawrence being tempted by the devil essentially, and Naveen himself being bored by this. So Lawrence's motivation isn't quite clear enough into why he's doing what he's doing, but it's because Naveen has treated him like crap his whole life. Everyone has treated him like crap his whole life, which Facilier says he's like, I'm not going to waste much time on you. You were beaten by, or you were put down by your mother, by your sister, your brother, and if you're married, you'd be, from your wife as well. So he's just a greedy little toad that thinks he deserves everything Naveen has. And that's not enforced as strongly as some of the other character arcs in this. So you're not wrong to say, did I miss something?
Okay. Because I felt like, and then as the movie went along, I was like, oh, okay, well, because I know Naveen is very much so this, he's kind of living that just airy lifestyle, just like, yep, I'm enjoying myself. I'm having fun. I'm bouncing around. I'm not tied down. I don't want to be tied down, and I don't want any of that. And I just kind of assumed like, because he was of that mindset, that Lawrence took over because he wasn't going to let this opportunity pass because again, like Naveen wasn't going to inherit any money, right? Unless he got married. Wasn't that his sideline?
Yeah, his parents cut him off. Naveen's parents cut him off because he was just living the high life without any motivation, without any plans. So Naveen had been wasting all of his money just gallivanting around. And Lawrence is the one who set up if you meet Charlotte and marry her, you can get her fortune. And Naveen is even knowing that he needs the money, even knowing that's what he wants, he still doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be tied down, despite the fact that it'll continue to fund his adventures. He just wants to live the free will in life. And Lawrence is the one who's like, this is how you get the money. He's German, okay?
He's always German, apparently.
Lawrence, Prince Naveen, listen to me. Okay.
Just so anybody at home knows, the character isn't German in the movie.
He's not. No.
Make that connection. We're okay. And we continue on.
he's more British, but it's the cadence in his voice that I can't help but fall into. I should have practiced the voice. I wasn't prepared to do a Lawrence voice in this.
I wasn't prepared to have a voice at all. So really,
well then I'm one up on
the
you.
same page.
Let's hear you do a Lawrence voice, Jeff. Huh?
It's just going to become the troll because that's all that I ever do.
I think Naveen's a cool character. I like his general attitude, even though he's this. He's a ladies' man. He's just having a good time at the beginning of the movie, and he is a selfish rich kid. And it's funny because you have Charlotte, who's a selfish rich girl, but she's a very genuine, nice human being, and Naveen, who is just out. He's the single-minded, selfish, all out for himself, just have a good time, immature. Prince, right? He has bad qualities about him, and his journey through being a frog and whatnot. It's meeting Tiana, experiencing the journey with her that pushes his arc and saves him as a person. That he becomes selfless by the end of it.
Yeah, because, I mean, really, it looks like nothing would faze this man.
Right.
Because the fact that he's a frog, he seemed really cool and collective about that.
Comfortable about it.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, that happened, an hour ago? Basically, you were led into a voodoo hut, and you were turned into a frog. You're completely fine with it.
He rolls with the punches.
I would be freaking out something fierce. That's all I'm saying.
That's a character trait of his, because all throughout this, he's unflappable for he gets turned into a frog. He's like, I just need to. Oh, yep, I'm a frog. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Oh, I know this story. You have to kiss me and I'll be fine. Come here, princess.
Yeah.
and
Which now that is an interesting twist on this.
mhm.
That because that's something now I don't know like the Frog Prince. Because isn't it the Frog Prince? Isn't that what it's based on? Like, isn't that the fairy tale?
Yes,
or
that is
am I mistaken?
No, you're correct. The original root of this story comes from the
Frog Princess.
The Frog Prince was the
Oh,
original.
by the Brothers Grimm.
Yes, exactly. And
Yes,
then
and
there's
there's
the
a-
Frog Princess, which was a children's book.
Got it.
That was then the
So-
inspiration for this. But to go all the way back to its root, it's the Frog Prince.
Okay. So like I don't know a ton of either one of those. Like I've never read the Frog Prince. I'm on like I know the basis of the fairy tales just because I'm a adult or I'm a human, so I'm well aware like, oh, there's a frog and the princess has to kiss the frog and then he turns into a prince. I get that. Like that part of it I understand. But so I don't know if this is part of those books, but I kind of like the idea that they immediately run into the whole, no, this is how we fix this. Oh crap. No, because you're not a princess and you kissed me, now you are also a frog. Like that aspect of it is a nice little twist.
Yeah,
that I guess I wasn't looking at.
The curse worked a little differently than expected, and I love
Right.
that he's so upset that you lied to me. I never said I was a princess. You never said you weren't. And like all of
And, like,
his selfishness and whatnot, he's the one who's offended. Like, oh, I can't believe you would do this to me. I'm not rich. How do you like that?
Like I like that. I like that twist because so going into this movie, I had seen this film once before. Well, I'm really losing my voice, guys. Sorry.
We'll get there.
I saw this movie one time before, and I did not remember Tiana being a frog for as long as she was. I completely spaced on that. And
It's a half hour before
Yeah.
she turns into a frog, and then she spends the remainder of the film as a frog.
As a frog until literally the very end of the movie, right? Like she pops back up as her human form there during the climax of the film, but then Dr. Facilier turns her back to the frog, and then she's the frog until they get married. Seemingly after you feel like the movie's over, like
Yeah, right.
no, we've hit the end of the film. Oh, we're back. They're getting married. Oh, okay. Oh, they're turning a human. Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay, I didn't
it's
see
the
any of that
epilogue.
coming.
It's the epilogue. They've
Yeah,
accepted
yeah.
their fate. They found out what they needed, even though it wasn't what they wanted, which we will get back to that. And
Yep.
the epilogue, they are rewarded for their pure hearts and they're following their hearts and accepting what they need as opposed to what they've always wanted. And it's a great that's another bit of detail where it's when you really break it down is very well constructed. She turned into a frog because she wasn't a princess and she kissed him. Okay, so the
Right.
curse backfired and got her as well. Well, by marrying him, she becomes a princess, and when he kisses her, that countermands his curse, and once his curse is lifted, it also lifts her curse, and that's whoever thought that through. That's really smart to be like, okay, how do we get them human again? Well, she has to be a princess. How does she become princess? She needs to marry this frog prince. It's very good. It's very good. It's layered. It's layered. It's like
It's very layered.
It's not like a 7-layer burrito layer, but it's like a 3-layer. It's like a 3-layer burrito.
Yeah, 3, maybe a 4. If you're feeling extra saucy.
Yeah.
So going along with what you were saying, this movie definitely does like to be kind of just look at some of those tropes or some of those cliches that we know from the princess or like the fairy tales and stuff like that, and does a decent job at finding new ways around them or tweaking them and changing them. I really liked what you said that they had to find what is it? You said they had to find what they needed, not what they wanted.
Find what they need,
Or is it
not
the
what
other-
they want. Yeah.
Right.
Which is-
so instead of the cliche fairy tale where the beautiful princess ends up with the beautiful prince because that's what they thought they were supposed to do. She found somebody that she really got along with and liked, and it's not the person she would have expected
Yeah.
to be with
In
in a good way.
of course, yeah. They find each other with each other, and that's
Right.
really neat. And to talk more about taking what worked, taking what's great about the past films, as well as pushing it towards new ideas of the future that we'll get in the subsequent films. Tiana's "I Want" song is not. It is. It's similar to Mulan, and if you remember, I really praised Mulan for really shining in the tropes of the Renaissance era, and her "I Want" song was very personal. It wasn't trying to go out into the world and change who she is. It was a way of accepting who she is in her world. Tiana's "I Want" song is she wants to own her own business, and that's so much different than the other princesses we've had before, because this is a very mature young woman. She wants to succeed. She wants to honor her father and what he never was able to achieve by opening up her own business, opening up her own restaurants. And her "I Want" song, which is I'm almost there, is so much different than any of the other princesses or heroes we've had before this point.
Definitely.
And
Because she wants to continue being, not necessarily, she doesn't necessarily want to continue being independent or anything like that. You know, she's not saying like, I don't ever want to get married. I don't want to ever be like, that's not the story.
No.
She wants to fulfill that dream of her father's and of hers since she was a kid.
Right. And she even says it to her mom, because her mom is trying to pressure her, like, when are you going to get married? I want grandkids. And Tiana's like, I'll get there, but I'm not interested in that right now. I want to have this restaurant first. I want to achieve this dream before I'll do anything else, which is part of her arc, because she's so focused on this one thing that she wants to achieve, which is great, but it's also single-minded. She's not enjoying her life as she's pursuing her dream. Ooh, nice. That was off the top of my head. I like that.
I like that. Write that one down. TC. It doesn't matter what else you say in the entire podcast. I mean, it's all going to be better than anything I'll say. Right. So you win.
So some criticism of this movie is that despite her wanting to own her own business, she still ends up just marrying the handsome prince and falling in love and getting married in the end. But that comes out of the themes in the narrative of this film, which is she never said she didn't want that stuff. She just didn't have time for that stuff. She never even considered it. Like when Naveen makes dinner for her when he wants to propose to her, because he's very he does things quickly. I'm gonna propose. Spontaneous. That was the word I was looking for.
Okay.
When he lays out the dinner for her, and she's very touched because she says, "Wow, no one's ever done this for me before." There's probably a good chance that someone did try to do that for her before, and she didn't notice. And my evidence of that is on the train in the opening prologue song, down in New Orleans, when she's on her way to work. There's a very handsome gentleman next to her who pulls the flower out of his lapel to give to her, and she completely ignores him and walks away. And he's like, "Oh, okay, well." So she's so focused on her achieving her dream that she's missing the stuff around here. So where she's finally out on the riverboat experiencing life, Naveen has that dinner for her, and she says, "Oh, no one's ever done this for me before." I think it's more about the fact that she's finally noticed that someone is doing something for her, and I think that's sweet. It's part of her journey.
It is, because her journey is that she needed to slow down and still have the dreams that she has, but just also enjoy your life at the same time. And don't be entirely caught up on work.
That's what Mama Odie tries to tell her in the song is, dig a little deeper. Find out what you need. Dig a little deeper.
Now who did that voice? Who was
Mama
that was
Odie.
Who was that?
I'm gonna let you look.
Oh, Jennifer Lewis. That's right. I forgot Jennifer Lewis was in this. A lot of really good actors and actresses that are in this film and this movie doing lots of good voices. Now, is there an 80s failed comedian or washed up comedian that doing a voice in this film anywhere?
Remember what I said about taking all the stuff that was working and also finding new ways to push it into a new era of film? And that's and I think that means leaving behind that trope. I think, and this is going Pixar, and actually let's delve into some Lasseter stuff here. Up to this point, through the history of this library, especially the second half of the library, we've joked about it. There's always that 80s or early 90s comedic voice actor that plays some sidekick, that plays some minor role to great effect in many cases. There are some really fantastic supporting character performances done by that tropey comedian, right? We've had some great ones. But I think we've reached a point now where that has become more of a hindrance than a benefit. I'm not saying Rosie O'Donnell did a terrible job in Tarzan, but it's not exactly a memorable one. I certainly have my feelings about Jason Alexander playing the gargoyle that he did.
And we all know our opinions on Ben.
On Ben, right? So it's Pixar. We've mentioned this before on the show. Pixar doesn't cast voices and then sell the movie on a voice. They cast the right voice for the job. For example, there was a push to get Beyonce to voice Tiana because she was an it girl. I mean, she still is. She's the queen bee. I mean, we're not going to deny that.
I was going to say, she's the it woman.
Right.
Thank you very much, TC.
Sorry.
She's gotten older now.
She's a mother.
She's a mother, yeah.
But the thing is that would have hurt the film to have Beyonce do she probably would have done an amazing job, but it would have been far too tempting for them to sell the movie on the fact that she is one of the voices. I mean, just look to the fact that I'm dating this episode by saying it, but The Lion King's coming out soon, and they cast her as Nala. And now they can sell the movie on the fact that it's Nala. Maybe she's the right voice for the job, but I don't know. I like the Pixar method of cast the right voice for the character. And oh shoot, I'm going to get her name up here. Tiana is voiced so wonderfully by
Anika Noni Rose.
Yes, Anika Noni Rose. There you go.
I was trying to look up her filmography. I was trying to figure out what else she's done.
She's the voice acting in this is perfectly cast, and you don't have some noticeable voice for a supporting character to take us out of the film.
Yeah.
Oftentimes with those 80s, 90s voice actors doing a role, they bring a lot of their isms to it. So then you have Robin Williams' impersonations, or you have John Candy's ramblings, or you have Martin Short doing Ben, and that sometimes can take you out of the moment. The most you get out of something like that from a voice actor in this is that Anita's left-handed. She asked that Tiana be left-handed, and that's the extent of
and that's enough.
A voice actor affecting more than they should for.
Right. And I like the fact that our main two characters, Tiana and Prince Naveen, and then I guess I'm looking through the list, and I guess you could argue Jennifer Cody, so who did Charlotte. What has she done?
I'll let you look that up.
But I could argue that our main two characters are voiced by people who I don't really know them from anything else. They're not that. It's not John Travolta and Miley Cyrus,
right?
It's not that again. It's not. Well, obviously here's these two huge names. These two are people that I don't know who they are. But then sprinkling in those bigger names to do, the secondary characters,
the small roles, right?
Is completely fine. John Goodman as Big Daddy.
Yes,
it's so John Goodman, but I also see John Goodman in that performance.
I
hear the voice.
That maybe that's it. Maybe that's our '80s actor who's in a supporting role.
Is John Goodman.
But John Goodman is so much more than just a one-trick comedic pony, right? John Goodman is legend, man.
I like John Goodman. He's always entertained me.
Plus, coming over from the Pixar world to voice a character here.
See, well, I mean, really bouncing back and forth between the Disney and the Pixar world, because, Emperor's New Groove was before Monsters, Inc., so...
Who did he voice in Emperor's New Groove?
Pancha.
Duh. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, totally...
TC, I do not think we can be friends anymore.
I can't believe that. See, that's just a credit to Emperor's New Groove that I don't think of the voice actors, I think of the characters. Oh, what a...
Right?
That's a brain fart here. Oof.
So really, but the way that I look at it, like all these characters, even you could even argue like Lawrence, because that voice, I don't know if that actor is the same actor. I've heard that type of voice before. It might be the same actor, it may not be. But all of our quote unquote main characters in these films, are people that I don't know the voice actors behind. And I like that because I'm not automatically picturing the actor when I hear the voice.
Right.
You know, I do with Big Daddy when I hear John Goodman. Yeah, I picture John Goodman. I picture Oprah when I hear Tiana's mom talk, because you can tell it's Oprah. You know, like I can picture those people when I hear those voices. Yeah, I can obviously picture Keith David when Dr. Facilier starts talking.
Oh, yeah.
Like I know Keith David. Come on, everybody, Keith David. So even with him, but I'm okay with him at that point because it's the villain. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's a good villain voice. But I like that everybody else is not main characters, so that way I have my own way to develop, or my own fresh plate to develop who I think these characters are.
Yeah.
You know, without preconceived notions of who the actor behind them is.
And it just goes to that, cast the right voice for the role, not the voice that will sell the movie. And that's great. So I've recommended Creativity Inc. in the past. It's the book about the Pixar method. And a lot of what is in Creativity Inc. talks about the transition from Pixar to Disney, and you get to understand from a production point of view what the Pixar method is, and how they slowly, or rather quickly, applied that to how Disney is run. Something that they made the mistake of doing is naming this movie The Princess and the Frog. That came from some higher up, someone who, we're doing another princess movie, we need to sell it as a princess movie, where Pixar had learned, and they had learned after this movie, that by putting princess in the title, you alienate 50% of your audience almost immediately, because you create preconceived notions with the fact that, this is a girl's movie. And this is,
right.
It certainly has the classic princess elements to it, and it certainly probably would appeal more to little girls like Charlotte, right? But by calling it Princess and the Frog, they alienated the boys, right? And they immediately learned that mistake to listen to other team members in the production staff. Pixar, and as last year's applied to Disney, everyone has a voice. If we go back to the Katzenberg-Eisner era, they gave everyone a voice in pitch us the best story you got. You're all required to do this. The method now is, hey, if you think something's not working, address it, because that will affect the film. We might not listen to you, but at least bring it to our attention. And a couple people did try to bring to the attention of the production that maybe we shouldn't call this movie Princess. And because they didn't listen to that, it did sort of affect the box office of this film. It was not a failure by any means, but Tangled, Frozen, they realized they could name these movies with more ambiguous and more meaningful titles than, hey, what are our two characters? A princess and a frog.
Done. Well, we used to do that. Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Hercules. We did this all the time. This works perfectly.
People grew out of it. That is something that they learned out of the what we referred to as the second dark age of you can't lean so heavily on those old conventions, because audiences have gotten smarter, and audiences' taste for animation has completely changed in the past decade of films. And and so that's a minor complaint that the movie has the word princess in the title, but it's something that they learned from for every movie that followed, even changing the name of Tangled midway through production.
So now, and knowing the way that they would name these movies going forward, what do you think they should have called this film?
Oh, chief.
I know I'm kind of putting this on the spot. But we like to do this. We do this. So I'm like, why not? Like, what do you think they could have called this film, so that way it still kind of gives you, and more than likely, it sounds like it'd have to be like a one-word name, because that's what they're really good at.
A contextual one-word title for this movie. Oh boy! So you can tweet at me at TC's Big Head. You can tweet at Jeff at Random Bell, or you can throw it in the comments section below on Facebook if you think there's what your title for this movie would be.
Yeah, what would your guys' title be for this film if you could rename it something else besides The Princess and the Frog? And let us know, and we'll talk about that next week.
Because Tangled there's so many meanings in that. They're getting tangled in their relationship. Her hair gets tangled. There's multiple meanings for the word frozen, a frozen heart. It's cold. There's snow, right? What could a movie set in Prohibition era Louisiana about a couple people who get turned into frogs and trying to find themselves? Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna file that away for now because on the spot right now, I
Okay.
can't think of anything.
Okay. We will come back to
Yeah.
that one.
Let's discuss a little bit of the criticism that comes from analysis of this movie, and something that people have pointed out is that this movie kind of glosses over how women and men of color were treated during the Reconstruction era, the Prohibition era in the United States. We're in the South. We're in Louisiana. The most we get is that the bank owners that she's trying to buy the establishment from, that Tiana's trying to buy the establishment from, point out that she would have a little difficulty, a woman of your background. That's the most they say in terms of you're a black woman, you're not going to buy this business
Right.
nor own it. And there's been some criticism that this isn't just a Disneyfication of a fairy tale or a book. This is a Disneyfication of history. And is that bad? Some critics have looked at it and said, yes, this is bad. They glossed over racism. The wealthy white family is so generous to the poor black girl that it's comical when you look at it from a historical context. And looking at history, I can understand where people might be coming from that. But this is a situation. I think this happens often when people want to try to find something to criticize, that they focus so much on what they consider bad that they miss what is so great about this. Tiana is not just our first black princess, she's the first black protagonist that has been in this Disney library. That is an exciting, monumental moment for little girls who've been growing up with this library and hardly nary a sign of women of color for them to look to.
Right.
Naveen is a mixed race, mixed ethnicity, very ambiguous. And where on one hand, someone could criticize that and say like, oh, well, he's not definitively this race or this race, and that's sitting on the fence. Well, there are plenty of mixed race people, little boys who could look at Naveen and think, hey, that's me. It's representation as opposed to what they're missing. Look at what they did. This is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked a lot about taking what has been classic and pushing it into a new sensibility. Part of that comes in casting this movie with two main characters of color. That's amazing. And certainly they glossed over the historical significance of how people were treated back then and whatnot. And yes, that is something that America needs to acknowledge its bad history in addition to what we consider our good history. But
Right.
I feel like it's far more important to look at the fact that this exists for those people who haven't been represented. Looking at the success of Black Panther, again, dating this episode, well, or not. I mean, the movie's record breaking at this point. So, I mean, everyone will be talking
At this
about Black
point, it's
Panther
gonna
forever.
it's just gonna be in theaters for the next 10 years. So we didn't date it any more than that. DC, we're golden.
Yeah, the representation here is outstanding. It's wonderful, and I love the movie for doing that. I love Disney for taking that chance and not dropping the ball on this where they very well could have. For example, originally the character's name was Madeline, not Tiana, and someone pointed out the fact that Madeline would be Maddie, and Maddie sounds a bit like Mammy, and that is racist.
Jeez.
Change this character's name, and they all went, "Good points." Sorry,
Good point. Thank you for pointing that out.
We should. What's a good traditionally black woman name that we could put here? Okay, there we go. That was good. They because that's a mistake that would have came out of decades ago. If we're looking in Walt's era, I really feel like some tone deaf idiot would have been like, "No, Madeline's a great name."
Yep.
Maddie, you're looking too much into it. It's worth looking into.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Half that stuff from back in the day where people are always like, nah, you don't ever need, like, well, they didn't care back then, I feel like. They didn't care like people do nowadays.
hmm
I mean, we are a lot more not self-conscious, that's not the right term, but we are more aware of the world we live in now. We're
We're
we
more
understand.
it's more sensitive. We're more sensitive, and
Yeah.
sure people can say, oh, we're oversensitive now, and we look at stuff too much. And I am slightly criticizing people who want to tear this movie down because it didn't focus on the historical significance of black people's roles in the South in the era. I am nitpicking them for nitpicking the movie a little bit, but the
Mhm.
sensitivity is there, and it's not oversensitivity. Uh, and you're right. I mean, yes. Sorry, I trailed out there.
It's fine. I do it all the
Yeah.
time.
The
Have you
the
listened to this podcast?
I love the setting of this movie. We've had this before where
Yes.
we get a little we have little runs of stagnation in terms of the setting and the universe of the world that the characters are in doesn't isn't so dramatic that it stands out, that when we do get something that's brand new, to go back to Mulan, to set Mulan in this feudal China, feudal Japan hybrid, was such a breath of fresh air coming out of the woods of the movies before it. Uh,
Right.
and New Orleans is such a wonderful setting for this movie because it motivates the music, it motivates the color palette, it motivates just the look of it, and even the Tiana's fantasy where she sings almost there, and we get the monochromatic look, like the much more flat animation.
Yes,
Uh,
which I loved that. I loved
yeah,
that little like change in style for her fantasy. It was
hmm
so nice, so good.
yeah. The setting of this movie, the movement of the animation style, and it's we have not talked enough about the 2D animation. I genuinely think you can do types of movement and types of animation in 2D that you can't get from 3D. There's something so alive about all these characters and their wild takes,
Hmm.
and I don't know, like think of something as simple as like, I am Prince Naveen, whack of Maldonia. Like that's in
And his
3D.
frog leg, just he's the only thing that's not flattened on him too. Just one frog leg sticking up. It's like,
I argue that that works better in 2D than it would in 3D. I don't know. I
Mhm.
can't really articulate why.
I see. I feel like a lot of it has to do with the fact that 3D is designed, especially nowadays. 3D is designed, no matter how hard they try, to look real.
Yeah.
There is a level of 3D needs to be realistic.
Mhm.
The water needs to be real. The trees need to be real. The way that the grass blows and the wind needs to be real. So a lot of those things that were so well, could be done so easily in 2D,
Mhm.
don't work in 3D because it's those are 2D effects or 2D elements or 2D gags or 2D like physics
Yeah, that's it.
that
2D physics. There you go. Because
like,
yeah.
and because you can't do that in 3D because our mind goes, that's not how a person would move.
Right.
Even though it's still a cartoony figure,
Mhm.
it still has cartoon physics or proportions to it. It's not the same because your brain goes, no, that's supposed to be real. That doesn't work.
Yeah,
Whereas in 2D, your mind can kind of just, suspend disbelief or suspend belief.
that's it. You,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
you hit on that with the physics element, because doing wild takes in 2D, maybe it's because of the history of 2D animation that we're more willing to accept it.
Mhm.
Um, but in 3D, I think of something as simple as like going back to Daffy Duck, and I'm going to use a Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny outright. Like, imagine Daffy just hitting himself on the head, clang, 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 with a frying pan or something. And every time he hits
Right.
his head, his face changes. So it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
That in 3D, it could surely work, but there's something more acceptable about that being done in 2D. So like having I Am Prince Naveen Wham of Maldonia, where he's mangled, cut away, and then come back, he's fine. I like I said, I can't find the perfect way to articulate this, but there's something about 2D that allows for that type of physical humor that I don't feel like we can necessarily truly pull off in 3D. And I think you're onto it as well
Right.
with that. With it's the fact that 3D makes it just look a little touch. Even the most ridiculous of 3D animation still delves into a reality more like ours.
Right. We are raised. I mean, everyone's raised on cartoons. We're raised growing up watching Looney Tunes and the Mickey Mouse and all those types of cartoons, like all those cartoon characters. And we learn cartoons are not real. Cartoons are just pretend. Everything that happens in there, like, it doesn't matter how much they get. They get. Or Daffy Duck gets his face blown off with Elmer Fudd's shotgun. Next scene, boom, he's fine again, no issues. So we're just used to 2D being like that.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter what they do. This is funny.
It's funny.
We can laugh now. We don't have to feel bad that they're going to be hurt.
Right. And I just remembered. I remembered something because speaking of the humor, speaking of the wild takes, and you had mentioned you had forgotten about Tiana being a frog. What did you forget? You forgot something.
Yeah, I forgot that she was a frog for as long as she was. That completely threw me off.
I've seen that. We didn't mention, like, you'd said you'd seen this once before. Was this a movie that your nieces watched quite a bit that you caught just as in passing?
This was one that I watched with them one time.
Okay, all right. We usually open up front with that, but we dove right into this. I've seen this movie a good number of times. And something I completely forgot about was the Froggers, the 3 frog hunters, that little guys
like
on
the
boat.
father and the 2 boys or something like that. Yeah.
I had completely forgot about it. So that when that scene started happening, I was like, oh, I don't remember this. Even though I've seen this movie a good handful of times, I did not remember that at all. And the humor in that scene, it's 3 Stooges. It is wham, boom, boom, boom. Just,
Yep.
That is so well done. And that's leads to a discussion of the humor of this movie and how nice it is. This movie does not go way over the top and try too hard like we've seen from Chicken Little.
Right.
And the humor is all contextual, which is nice because it doesn't have the mistakes that something like Meet the Robinsons made, where suddenly we're in a kung fu movie for no reason and no explanation. And I can't really think, maybe a couple of the Firefly butt jokes didn't exactly land for me.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think every bit of humor in this movie works and lands.
Yeah, and it's funny because we see the humor that we've seen in the last couple of these films, and you can see that they're trying to figure out what is good, what's funny, what works, what doesn't work. They're trying to figure out, like, well, what are those companies doing? Or should we do what they're doing? Let's do what they're doing. That's not working either. Like, I like that we can find our way back around to a movie where, yeah, except for because when Ray first shows up, Ray the Lightning Bug, he has a fart joke. It's like literally the first thing that happens after he comes on screen. But it's that one joke, and then his character actually is a good character, which I really liked Ray. I love the voice. I love that. I love Ray as a character. And unfortunately, Ray's end is the one thing from this movie I do remember. I flat out remembered. I remembered him getting squashed.
Well, we'll...
Because I remember going, dang.
Yeah,
that's dark.
To segue away from discussing the humor and discussing Ray, because it's worth talking about our 2 supporting characters, Ray and Lewis. So first of all, Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings, back again, guys.
Again. Now, Jim Cummings, notorious for all more of his Disney afternoon cartoon television series voice work. He's a legend, man. He has done so many. Look at his IMDb page and just how many Disney characters he's voiced. It's great to see him.
He is Winnie the Pooh now.
Yes,
I mean,
that's right.
for the last 40 years at this point.
Yeah. But Jim Cummings as Ray the Cajun Firefly. What a fun idea. So Naveen and Tiana go on their journey, and it's very Wizard of Oz-esque, where it's like, let's get to the wizard, Mama Odie. She'll give us what we want, and then we can live happily ever after, get home, right?
Right.
And Ray is just there to help. He's not out for anything. His hopes and desires are his dream of being with Evangeline, his star in the sky, it's Charlotte's wishing star. And he's such a fun sidekick, right? Because he's not
Yep.
he's just out to help them. That's all he is, and he's happy to do it. Him and all of his Firefly family and friends. And his death scene is on screen. Like, we see him die on
Yeah.
screen. Have we seen anyone die on screen before?
That's what I was trying to think, like, because even with like villains and stuff like that, it tends to be in shadows, or like if the villain falls to their death, you don't
Cut
actually
away.
see them hit the ground.
Don't
Yeah,
see Mufasa get trampled, right?
right. We so rarely see a character actually die on screen and be dead. Like, oh, they didn't just die and oh, they're gonna come back in a second. Like, no. Like, he is gone. He died on screen. And I think that's just it. That's more. And I mean, I don't think we have, at least. I'm trying to rack my brain. I don't think we have.
And not only do we see him die, he gets his final words and final moments. We get to see his funeral, right? It's
Right.
and that is far more mature than. In fact, there's more funeral than there is wedding in this movie. And that's
true.
and that's good. I mean that is a good thing. I think that it's a very interesting element to put in this film. We often talk about if a kid should watch this, if this is one you should show children, and oftentimes I say a lot of these movies are great for discussion. Mufasa's death is great to discuss death with a child, and I don't necessarily think that Rey is on a level of importance as Mufasa. But
Right.
at the same time, there is something beautiful in his story, right? In his having his dream to be with his love, the woman he loves, his sweet darling Evangeline in the sky, and going out heroically and being honored by his friends and family before letting him drift off into the fog on his leaf. There's a real beauty to how simple how small his character is, and that's.
But the amount of importance they give his send off, he might have been a small character, but he had, like you just said a little bit ago, more importance than the flipping wedding at the end
Right.
between our two main characters.
It's beautiful. I love that. And he's got two. Going back to the music, everyone's got great music in this. I love his Evangeline song is so beautiful, and thematically it works. I love when he's speaking the French and Naveen's translating to Tiana, and he's like, "I love you." Well, I mean, I'm just translating.
Just crazy.
and also his gonna take you down, gonna take you down, gonna take you all the way down, going down the bayou. That's just a fun bouncing bug. Follow the bouncing butt, right?
Yep.
And then there's Lewis, the trumpet tooting alligator.
Oh man, that character. Character, which comes off like at the initial start as being potentially like he could very well be a bad guy. Like his introduction, because we just had all the other alligators too, which I just realized one of them was voiced by Emeril Lagasse.
Like the food guy?
Like the food guy? Yeah. Like as in Bam and Kick It Up a Notch, like that guy?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Apparently he's one of the alligators.
Nice cameo.
I did not know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
We were
doesn't matter.
We were talking about humor before. Lewis's introduction is great. Like he comes up, he's like, "Hey, I know that song," but his riverboat flashback is so good. That's
my favorite moment in the entire film too.
That is Emperor's New Groove level of funny.
Yes,
Like,
it is.
oh well, I was on a riverboat once, and it's like, and then just cut back. It didn't go well. Like
It didn't go well.
That's great.
I actually kind of wish they had a few more moments like that. Like not a lot. I don't want like the whole movie to be, because that's very much so Emperor's New Groove, or it's that whole cutaway gag, Family Guy cutaway gag. Yeah, but I would have loved to like 2 more gags like that in this film, just sprinkled, in an appropriate place, where necessary. It would have just been brilliant, but it would have definitely changed the tone of the entire film.
Right. But
and I understand why they didn't.
Lewis
do it,
still
so.
gets some good snappy comment, like when he gets the briar on his finger and he's freaking out, and then he sees the Froggers with the guns, and he jumps into the briar bush. And it's again a credit to the humor in this movie, that it's very sharp, it's very witty, And I love Lewis's characteristic as well, that he wants to just play music with the humans. I I don't know, Jeff. Do you think he should have been made human in the end, or
There's a part of me that kind of felt like that was the direction they were going, you know, like, because that was his wish, that was his dream to be able to play with the humans. And I kind of thought maybe they were going to let him have that.
They still
wish.
let him.
I mean,
he still does
they
get to do it.
Now, granted, that's not going to last very long because Mardi Gras doesn't last all year round. So they're not going to just buy into the fact that a human is wearing an alligator costume constantly.
Maybe it's just
But-
we're going to have to accept the fact that alligators can play trumpets in this universe.
You know what? If stars are actually the deceased lights of fireflies, then okay. Alligators can play with humans. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what else. Like, speaking of the humor, I think they might have just a little bit milked the burrs on the butt a little too much. Just like having the a couple of Raymond like fart jokes, like it's the snot rocketing Raymond out of the Frogger's nose and seeing the brownish green slime. Like,
Yeah.
that's a little. I don't love those kind of jokes, but they're not so in your face that I'm disappointed by them. But there's a convention. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I think I have, because I remember discussing this with you, but it's worth mentioning again. When something crazy happens and someone is drinking and the crazy thing happens in front of them, they pause for a beat and then they dump out what they're drinking. You know what I mean, right? Like that happens that happens all the time. And it happens at the party when when they jump down, they scare Charlotte, the dog starts Stella, the dog starts chasing them, the cake goes flying, like all that, and the one guy's drinking in the octopus costume and he dumps out all the drink. That's not how alcohol works.
Nope, that's not how alcohol works, guys. Just throwing that out there.
I get the joke.
Yeah, if you're seeing stuff, you're probably just going to keep drinking, first off, at that point.
I don't know. Can't remember when we discussed this, because it happened in another movie somewhere in this library, and I think I blamed Pink Elephants on Parade for this.
I was gonna say, because that joke, I feel like that joke is
That's an old joke.
I feel that's I remember. I think I've seen that in like a Looney Tunes. Like short,
black and white, like Charlie Chaplin. That wherever the origin of that is, someone has a really weird misconception on how alcohol works. I'm hallucinating.
I will do the research.
But that's a moot point. That's just it happened in this way. That movie trope is so weird. Well, anyway, to go back to that party and the action sequences in this movie, like we had mentioned, the Froggers on the boat being this really well timed choreography, the party getting broken up by the dog chasing the frogs is really well choreographed. The musical numbers in this movie are really well designed and choreographed and executed. Like the amount of care and detail into every one of these songs is on the level of Beauty and the Beast, in my opinion. Because you look at something like Be Our Guest, which is this fully produced number, and you look at Gaston, which has a lot of choreography amongst the characters. Every song in Princess and the Frog has that, except the Evangeline song, which is just Raymond singing to the sky. But everything else in this, from Friends on the Other Side to Going Down the Bayou to Mama Odie's Dig a Little Deeper song, even the New Orleans song at the beginning, and Tiana's halfway there, all these numbers are really well designed and really well choreographed. They are fully produced musical numbers with no corners being cut. And that is fantastic, because it's another great honoring what's come before. Because this movie is a full-fledged musical, and showing how far they're going to push things for musicals in the future.
Right. Right, and it's actually it's nice to bring back. I guess we've kind of lost the musical for a little while now, haven't we? Because the movies that we've had prior to all this weren't really musicals; they were more traditional, normal like studio songs that were just used to invoke the emotion. Since which one was the last one that we had? Was that?
we had a little bit of singing in Brother Bear where the little bear, I can't remember his name, starts Coda starts. I didn't remember his name. Starts singing the song that turns into Phil Collins.
Right.
But the
But
last,
prior to that, was it all the way back in like
I
Mulan?
think,
Was Mulan like the
yeah,
last like real musical that we had?
full-fledged musical would have been Mulan.
Dang, I guess I didn't realize it had been that many movies ago
Yeah,
at this point.
I guess you got Destroying the Camp from Tarzan, although Tarzan was
Right.
before Mulan.
No, it was after Mulan.
After Mulan, okay,
Tarzan's
okay.
after. Yep.
Yeah, but we haven't had
So, but
a full-fledged musical.
we have like a number. We have like
Mm-hmm.
there was like a number that would show up, and there's that's kind of the song. Well, like you could argue like Kuzco, what's his name from Emperor's New Groove, because the theme song guy shows up and sings. Yeah, but like, but so that's still a number
Mm-hmm.
in the entire piece. It's not a musical in the sense of what we use. It's not like Aladdin, the Beauty and the Beast,
No,
and like
no.
those types of musicals.
where you have to do
and Mulan was
choreography.
really
Yeah.
right. So actually, wow, dang, I did not realize it had been almost 13 films since we had a full-fledged normal musical.
And I welcome them back because and having seen this
Yeah.
before and really focusing and watching it now, it really dawned on me just how well realized each musical number in this movie is. It's worth
Yeah.
watching every detail put into how characters are moving from point A to point B through the musical numbers, especially. It's fabulously done. To go all the way back to what we normally start with, what were your feelings before you watched this? Like said you'd seen it once before.
I had seen it once before, and I remember the movie finishing and going kind of like, okay, all right, there wasn't, there, it's fine. I think was honestly going back to our so clever response to some of these films we've watched, but I really do. I kind of just walked away going, okay, that's fine. Like it wasn't horrible. Like I appreciated the film for what it was trying to do. I could see what it was trying to do. It was trying to bring back that traditional animated film, which I think when I watched this last, I hadn't seen all these other films since
Forever.
Lion
Yeah.
King.
Right.
Yeah, forever, basically. So I didn't realize how far these movies had gone away. So I didn't see the big deal. I went, oh, no, this is the same thing as what the movies when I was little. Like, oh, okay. Isn't this what they've always been doing? Like, that's in my head. That's what I assumed they were always like this.
So now
I didn't realize
now
they'd
you've
stepped
watched
away.
it in order. You've come back to it. I think that I'm imagining you had a couple surprises in watching this. I'm not trying to speak for you, but
No, I did. Well, my voice is not next to nothing. So
I am
please do
speaking
speak
for
for
you.
me, TC.
well, I was really surprised, but I can't do a Jeff impression, sir.
That's that's dead on me. That's right there. Thank you. You make me sound like a cougher, like a smoker.
Yeah.
No, I came away from this movie, honestly, like I enjoyed it. I had a lot more fun with it. I definitely had laughs that I didn't know were coming. I fell in love with the music in this movie a lot. Like I really did enjoy the music.
Great soundtrack.
And way more than I did the first time. And I liked this. I liked a lot of this type of music the last time I saw this. I mean, the last time I saw it was obviously it was less than 10 years ago because this movie's not 10 years old.
Yeah.
So like it's probably only been like 4 or 5 years since I've seen this film. But I remember I came away from it liking it a lot more this time than I did the last.
All right. Well,
So
I similarly found some new enjoyment in this movie. It's been a few years since I've seen it, but when it initially came out, this was a comfort movie for me. I was recovering from an injury, and this was a movie that I watched part of a rotation of movies to make me feel better, to make me happy. And I had watched it a good number of times with my nieces and then on my own, just enjoying the magic of Disney that I hadn't felt in a very long time. Coming back to it now after watching these movies on practically a weekly basis, I have a similar feeling of being just happy to return to a lot of the traditions of what makes this entire library of Disney films so lovely, so wonderful, so joyful. And I'm happy to see that I didn't feel I needed to be overly critical about it. The minor things that I would note in terms of like, I wouldn't have done that joke. Okay, snot joke, yay. But other than that,
Yeah.
and being able to see a little more complexity than I had ever noticed before, especially in some of the more subtle character arcs, such as Dr. Facilier's arc, and watching Naveen develop as a selfless human being and wanting to help somebody as opposed to help himself. I really appreciated where this movie has come, what it came out of, and what it's pushing us towards. We often talk
Right.
about the shifts in these films, and as much as Bolt was a wonderful shift in what Disney was offering by using a lot of what makes Pixar great, I think what Princess and the Frog has done, this does not feel like a Pixar movie. And I don't mean that in a bad way. This feels like a true Disney film. And this is their voice. They have found a way to exist alongside Pixar without mixing the two up. There's no doubt that this is a Disney film. And that's amazing that they have found themselves. And I have a sneaking suspicion, knowing what's ahead in this library, that they have stuck this landing and they are going to keep going forward with this.
I don't know. I mean, the next like 5 movies that are on this list I've never heard of.
Trust me about it. Trust me about it. We'll see though, because it has been a while since I've seen the rest of these. So maybe there will be that. Does this feel like a definitive Disney movie? But those other movies aside, The Princess and the Frog to me definitively feels like a Disney film.
And it's nice to see that. It's nice to see, because I will agree, it's nice to see that you can tell that they have found where they're going to go with it. You can tell where they have found that mix between the DreamWorks humor, their own humor, the Pixar humor and heart, and you can see a lot of that. You can see where what they found, what works. Obviously, bringing back the music numbers works really well, guys. Yeah. People do like the music numbers. Don't get rid of the music numbers again.
Quite the antithesis to Home on the Range. This is very much like everything they did wrong, this movie does right. And I've been trying to open this door for you, Jeff. Are you going to walk through it or not?
Where am I going to put it on the list?
I was going to let you ask me. I wasn't asking you. You can't ask yourself. I have asked you. You have asked yourself. You've just asked yourself.
Oh, no.
I was like, I'm trying to, I'm holding the door for you, Jeff. I'm like, have my hand against it. And you're like, should I go through this door? Jeff, of all the movies I've watched, where do I put this on? Dang it.
Just to throw you off the scent, TC. I'm going to keep you guessing every time now. Okay. Well, where is this going to go?
Well, I am curious as well as the listeners are curious. So those of you who might be new to the podcast, what we've been doing is watching all these movies in order. We've been grouping them in 10, and every 10 we are ranking them 1 through 10. This is our 9th film in this selection, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And so where on this list of 10? Now you can see these lists on our Facebook page, facebook.com/topshelfpod. In our notes section, you can see how we've been ranking these movies as we've gone along. I think I've killed enough time, Jeff. Are you ready?
I'm ready. And actually, I was ready before you killed the time.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
So I was actually ready for this one, and I had a different ranking at the start of the episode.
Okay.
That I had done as a gut reaction when I had watched the film. But I also hadn't looked at the list. I thought I knew the order of the list when I ranked it, and I did not. Excuse me. So we started, and I looked at my ranking right at the beginning of the episode during one of my many silent periods because I was trying to save the voice that is almost gone right now at the end of this episode. I'm sure I have just made everybody listening to this episode very thirsty because I know I am right now. But I ranked it. I immediately changed it because I realized very early on when I realized what this movie was, that it was Disney going, no, if we're going to end the 2D animation, we have to end it better than what we did. We have to go out much better. Also, them proving that they don't necessarily need the 3D animation. Yeah, they kind of do, but they didn't have to. They could have made 2D films that still work and were fun. bringing back the musical song, the numbers, and letting it be fun and be enjoyable and have fun characters that I care about, and having a story that's a new twist on a classic story, but isn't a new twist in a bad way. When it came down to it, this is my number 2.
Okay, just below Lilo and Stitch.
Just below Lilo and Stitch, and knocking Bolt down a step. Now the closeness of where like Bolt was to Treasure Planet, according to me last week, it's not that close for Princess and the Frog and Bolt. I like Princess and the Frog. We always go back to the same thing. If I sat down and was given, Bolt and Princess and the Frog to watch, which one would I watch again? Well, I would watch Princess and the Frog in a heartbeat, not even a question, because it's got all those elements that I love from the Disney movies when I was younger. That when I think of a Disney movie, even if I go a Disney fairy tale, this has all the elements that I would expect, just done in a slightly modern way, but not too modern that it's weird.
Right.
Yeah. It still works. It still helps make the movie work on its own without it being like, oh, you're trying to be a Shrek.
Yeah.
That's, not to, I have to keep bringing that up. I mean, I know we're years beyond it at this point, but I have to keep bringing it up. Right. So yeah, it's my number 2 because I really enjoyed it. I'm not like madly in love with this movie, but I like it a lot more than I like Bolt and a lot of the other ones that we've had on our list. And it's because it is the right mix of 2D music, comedy, characters, just plot. It's the right mix of all of those that I really liked it, but it still just doesn't have the heart that Lilo and Stitch has.
Okay.
Like Lilo and Stitch still at its core, in my eyes, is still just, it's a lot stronger and a lot more important of a film.
Right. Oof. Well, so much of what you said, I completely agree with. There's a lot of what I was going to say as well.
Woohoo!
And
I'm learning to talk TC.
And I have not been able to make my decision on where I'm going to rank this since I watched it, and even sitting here talking, it's so close to, I agree. It's better than Bolt. It's better than everything we've seen before, and it really is a matter of Lilo and Stitch versus Princess and the Frog, and it's going to come down to what I'm in the mood to watch. And I could, this would be a choice I could hardly make. Like, we can watch one or the other. Can't we just do a double feature and watch them both?
Yeah.
And
Princess and the Stitch.
Yeah. And I would like to put Princess and the Frog at number 1, but I'm going to put it at my number 2 as well, if only for the fact that Lilo and Stitch, and this is edging it out just barely, I think Lilo and Stitch does so much more unique things that set it apart from the entire library. But honestly, I love the traditions and the celebration of the Disney musical and the Disney princess, and taking a lot of those tropes and rewriting them and moving towards a different way of telling these styles of stories that the Princess and the Frog does, that we will see for the following films that deal with princesses. Lilo and Stitch still remains unique. It's an anomaly in the library for its characters, for the journey that the characters go on, and for that, I have to appreciate Lilo and Stitch just a touch more for being so much more unique. But Princess and the Frog is still, I love this movie. I honestly love this movie. It could quite possibly be in my top 10 Disney of all time. If you forced me to make a list, it very well could end up on that list.
Well, TC, we might be having, I might be forcing you to make a list here.
So I'm going to place it at my number 2 as well, which means we still have a very similar list in this round.
That damn Chicken Little is the only one that is flip-flop for us.
Well, we've praised this movie so much. I know this episode is running long. Jeff, do you want to hit up the comment section and see what some of our listeners have to say?
If you wanna take a gander at like a couple of them, I know we got a lot of people who are commenting on this week's episode.
We'll get into the comment section and respond to some of you for some of your comments, because thank you guys for engaging us. If you do want to reach out to us before we record, every Monday or Tuesday, in this case, before we record, we throw up the movie we're going to talk about. We ask you guys to hit up the comments section and let us know if we should discuss anything. And then when the episode posts, you can return after listening and rebuttal, rebuke anything that we have said. But
specifically, if TC messed up something, and generally after he belittled me for like hours about something I got wrong.
Let me have it.
We love when that happens.
The consensus over at facebook.com/topshelfpod, where you can get all of the Top Shelf podcasts at your fingertips, seems to be that people love this movie. There's a fandom for this film. Natasha says when she first came about this, she was really interested in seeing it, so she didn't see it until a few years later and ended up really enjoying it. Natasha, thank you for your comments. Thomas, Musker announced that he's retiring, dating this episode, and I was wondering if we had any thoughts. I'll engage you in that conversation in the thread there, but he says he isn't at odds with this film because he likes Tiana and most of the music. He even likes the Bayou stuff. However, he still feels like the restaurant and the frog plots don't connect thematically a way that makes me love the movie more. It's tons of fun, but something feels off for me. I see where you're coming from there, Thomas. And I go to the theme of this movie is finding what you need over what you want. Like what you want in your life. What Tiana wants is her restaurant. What Prince Naveen wants is to just live the high life and a girl on his arm every night. And those are their wants and their desires. But what they need is to look beyond their wants and what's around them. And it takes them being turned into frogs and going down a trip on the bayou to discover not just themselves, but what they need in their lives. And so I think that's how the restaurants and the frog plot kind of mesh together. I can see it where you might find it a little wishy-washy.
Maybe Tia needed to have a restaurant that only sold frog legs.
Oh, is that like pseudo-cannibalism? That's weird.
Well, that would be when she turns into the thing she wants to serve, and it's like, oh no, and I don't know. That's my connection. Of course, I'm also slightly brainwashed by the Muppet movie from the 1970s, so that's just my habit. Anyways, please continue, TC.
Scarlet Starkey says, I thought this was a great return to 2D animation and a better send-off than Home on a Range. We totally agree.
Hex, yes. Agreed.
Really good soundtrack. She says Charlotte is her favorite with a U. I think Scarlet might be from Europe. And she subverts expectations that you would have about a spoiled rich girl. Also a really great villain song. Hope you guys enjoy it. Yes, we agree on all fronts here, Scarlett. And she writes at the bottom here, Scarstar. I'm glad you... the nickname sticks. That's who she is now. Hashtag Scarstar.
Scarstar. We like when we give you guys nicknames. That's fun. Yeah. We enjoy stuff like that.
Like the Disneyists.
The Disneyists. Thank you, Jordan.
Andrea says, I hope you both love this movie, even though it came out when she was an adult. This is her number one. Tiana is such a great character, and I love the way they feature her friendship with Charlotte. Charlotte is an interesting character because although she is wealthy, it does not seem to matter when it comes to her friendship. We agree. We're agreeing with you on everything here, Andrea. When it comes to her friendship, she's willing to help her friend from something simple like a dress. Yeah, that's right. To kissing Naveen, knowing that she will not be with him. And although she is self-centered and somewhat vapid, she has a caring heart. Oh, we're all on the same page here, everybody.
Yay!
We also
Makes
have
me
to
happy.
remember that the time that there is a race factor here too. Anyway, I hope you love the story and the great humor in this movie. I love the hand-drawn quality. Sorry for rambling. You ramble all you want, Andrea. We agree with you on all this stuff. And it's right that Charlotte just gives Tiana a dress so that she doesn't have to be in her ruined costume.
A very nice dress. Yeah. Also, a dress that I don't think Scarlett was tall enough to wear.
She had it on standby just in case this moment were ever
just in
arrives.
Case she
Tiana is great. I think that's another thing that is worth mentioning. It's funny because Naya, is it Naya? Lilo's sister in Lilo and Stitch is such a wonderful character. She's a great female lead. I love her characterization of and her motives in her life are just to support her sister and her family. And Tiana, she might be one of my favorite princesses, if not my favorite princess in her desires and her motivations and whatnot. Yeah, she's so much more mature than 16-year-old Ariel, who just wants to be part of your world. No offense to her, but Tiana wants a little more out of her life.
Well, yeah, she does.
Wyatt has a bit of a long comment here, but the one I just want to mention real quick is he theorizes, is Ray the American Jiminy Cricket? A fair theory. I hadn't considered that.
Is Jiminy Glicket? Jiminy Glicket. Dang it. Jiminy Cricket. Dang nabbit. Was Jiminy Cricket British?
No, Jiminy Cricket was voiced by an American, but Pinocchio does take place in Germany, I think, or Italy.
That's true.
Italy.
In Italy, that's right.
What's it? Jiminy could have hopped a plane from America to come to.
Also true.
To end up where he is. He is a hobo, so he's probably traveled by train to get wherever he is. See, I think that goes to callbacks to tradition, Wyatt. He might not exactly be Jiminy Cricket, but the fact that a bug talking about a star, that is very
right.
Jiminy Cricket-esque. Which, hey, if you're gonna pay homage to anything, Pinocchio is one of the all-time greatest Disney movies ever. So why not pay tradition to that one, right?
Absolutely.
So, and one more quick comment. I'm sorry I'm blowing through these guys. This episode is running way longer than we normally go.
I think this is the longest episode we've had, guys.
Christy Dozier. I don't recognize that name. Thank you for listening. And they literally just commented. Thank you for listening and commenting. I love this movie. Saw it in theaters with high expectations, and all my expectations were met. I love the return to the hand-drawn animation. I feel like this movie could have fit in with the 90s Disney Renaissance, and I'm excited to hear what you think. Well, hey, I hope you like everything we said, Christy, because we totally agree with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, sorry I blew through those comments, guys, but like I said, we are running quite a bit long here, and I think it's worth wrapping things up here.
Mostly because if we go any longer, Jeff will have no voice whatsoever left.
So you can hit us up again in the future on the Facebook page, facebook.com/topshelfpod. We will engage all you in the conversation. I'll make sure I respond to all of you. But also hit us up on Twitter. Some of you have been tweeting me some really fun topics for our final episode, so keep that coming in terms of best of, worst of things that we might be willing to discuss. Scholze, one of our friends of the cast, gave a good suggestion as well.
Sweet.
Yeah. Sorry we sped things up. I've hit 11 on my speedometer and trying to get to the end here. Jeff, anything else you have to say?
Nope. Hopefully next week I have my voice again, and it's not completely gone by the time we record. So
what are we recording next week?
So next week we are finishing off this group of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we will also have a quick discussion at the end of the episode about our ranked 10 and potentially what is our number 1 out of this rank of 10.
Yeah.
But next week we are watching number 50.
Number 50.
50, everybody. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
We made 50. We made it to 50 and then we're just going to stop. No, I keep saying that. We're not going to. But we watched number 50, 2010's Tangled.
All right.
I really like this movie.
So keep an eye out on the Facebook page for the post. We'd love to get some of your guys' comments and feedback on that, as well as your 10 for this 10. Please hit us up on that and let us know what makes it out alive in your ranking. So before Jeff loses any more vocals, I think it's fair to wrap this up right now.
Right here at TC. Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening this week at TC.
Yep.
Do the sign off.
This has been a podcast. We have been the people you've been listening to, and this Jeff dying in the background is a sign off.
Guys, I think I have a frog in my throat.
Oh, how were you preparing the whole episode to say that? Oh my God.
Maybe. This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.